Hey guys, do you need welding gas? Go see the boys at Cool Gas. If you're in New Zealand, yep, go see these guys. They'll look after you. Cool Gas, New Zealand. Oh, green Falcon. Morning everybody. Welcome back to... I'm not quite sure if another video or not. I've still got all my footage from the other day when we built that big steam box, and I think it's a timber issue. I really do. I think the timber's just too old, too dry, been down too long, and you know, a heap of problems with it. It just won't get bendable enough. It also could be possibly the actual type of timber we're using. We're using beech. You know, they used that a lot here in New Zealand to make car bodies way back in the day. So it should work, but I just think it's not fresh enough, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so where I'm at the moment, I'm in the midst of making these things. So I've got this one here fairly complete. I've still got to do some tidy up, do some re-weld because of this is like this tube. I'm trying to make it light but strong without using full steel rod, if you know what I mean. But I've been layering up the end with a piece of steel that side, steel that side, welding it all the way around, and then grinding it down and cleaning it up, and welding it across the end, obviously, and then drilling some holes in it and trying to get them as square as I possibly can. So I've got to do just some finished touch-up welding, make sure it's no cracks or splits or anything in it, so it breaks off, because I've ground it down. But I've burned it in pretty hot, and I've mounted it back fairly well, if you know what I mean. Mounted it into the wall of the tube. This is like 1.6 mil, basically exhaust tubing, but it's only 19 mil or 3/4 tube. So, but at least it actually looks like solid bar now. I just didn't want it thin like that, but I didn't want big heavy steel rod, if you know what I mean, because that would be really, really, really heavy with having all that extra stuff. It might not make a lot of difference at the end of the day, but I thought that would be nicer to do. It's taken a little bit of time to weld the pieces on the end, but it'll work. So coming back to the wood for around the back of the body, because we really want to get that done, because that's sort of the last, I'm pretty sure it's the last major step. There's other pieces to do, but they're not quite so critical, if you know what I mean. In the end scheme, they all will come together, but there's other little bits and pieces that can be done without it all being together, and we can do finishing work and get into the body work. And when I mean body work, I mean cleaning it right down, etch it, or epoxy it, whatever you want to call it. Every country seems to be a little bit different, and everybody does the little bit things differently. A lot of the times I've just put body filler onto bare metal, you know. I've put epoxy or etch or epoxy on, and then put body filler over top, and there's that many different ways to do it. It's just, you've just got to make sure when you do it, whatever you're doing, you make sure you do it properly and cleanly and all those sorts of things, you know. Make sure you clean the body back properly, make sure the surface is clean, there's no rust on it, you've treated it for rust or whatever, you know. And I am now, just from learning different things, I think you're better off to put, this is just my opinion, get the steel cleaned back really nicely, etch it or epoxy it or whatever, put your body filler over top of that, and then start, you know, obviously block it back, whatever, and then put your high build primers over top of it, and then whether you're putting a sealer coat on it or just a light coated primer, and then you colour in your clear, if you're putting base coat, clear coat, or whether you're just putting a solid colour on, or whatever you're doing, you know what I mean. So yeah, hopefully we get into that shortly. But the timber we're gonna try and see if we can get some fresher beech or something, not just regular pine or whatever. It needs to be a reasonable sort of hardwood that we can get, that's going to stand the test of time, if you know what I mean. Because you can't really use like treated timber, like, you know, what do you want to call it, like treated pine or whatever like that. That's no good for doing that. It needs to be like a hardwood that is going to stand the test of time, but it's not going to, screws aren't going to tear out of it and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, we're either going to do that, or we're going to maybe cut down some thin strips and try and, not 100% sure, but maybe do another laminated one, but steam it as well, so we can form it and shape it easier, because it's got to go that way plus that way, if you know what I mean. It's got to go round on two planes, so it's going to be bent downwards and a round twist, as well as going around, if you know what I mean. Like it's, yeah, you're bending it two different directions and twisting it as well, so it needs to be fairly supple. So we thought maybe if we can't get some other timber, yeah, we'll cut thin strips. At least the steam would have half a chance to actually get into a nice thin strip and make it supple both directions, and obviously be a lot less of a fight. But also, we don't know whether we'd better just pull it around and clamp it with all those pieces together and just let it sit there and cure it, and then once it's dried and it holds its shape, then pull it apart and then glue it together, if you know what I mean. Not 100% sure how we're going to quite tackle that. It's just, again, it's one of those things we've never done. So yeah, I'll keep carrying off these today. We'll try and come up with a plan over the next day or whatever for this timber, because we want to get it done. It needs to be done so we can move on with the body. An update on, or quick update on Rachel's leg. So yeah, yesterday I spent basically a fair chunk of the day in Invercargill at the hospital, and then we did a couple of messages and bits and pieces and whatever in town, because it's also a young fella's birthday next Monday. So while we were in town, after we got her leg looked at, we did a couple of little jobs in town. But yeah, we haven't heard back from the MRI scan. That took about, I don't know, about half an hour, whatever it was, after waiting for about, I don't know, it was about half an hour anyway for them to see her, and then plus we had to go to another clinic to see whether we could get the results, and they said, no, you just, yeah, we'll ring you when the doctors had a look through them and all that sort of stuff. So hopefully either today or tomorrow or the next day, hopefully not too much after that, because Rachel really wants to know what's sort of going on, so she can either, you know, rest up for another wee bit of time if her leg's okay, or whether she's going to have knee surgery and whatever. So yeah, hopefully she doesn't have to have knee surgery, because gosh, she's being a pain in the ass. All she wants to do is keep ripping the brace off and start walking on with the crutches, but oh, she's stubborn. But I can understand, because you'd be a pain in the ass. I mean, like, her knee's still sore, but the swelling's, a lot of the swelling's gone out of it. It's still quite puffy, but it's nowhere near as big as it was. It's a lot closer to normal than what it was when it was really ballooned out, and you couldn't see her kneecap or anything. It was just all just round fluid, if you know what I mean. So it is, it's coming back. You can borderline see where the kneecap's sitting and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's fairly close to normal, so that's where that's going. So hopefully in the next couple of days we'll better tell you what's going on with that for you that are interested. So yeah, so I'll leave it at that in the meantime, and I'll carry on making some more of these links for this top. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a pain in the butt because I might have to put the top back up. I took it off so we could do the wood the other day, but now I might have to put it back up again so I can test fit these to make sure that they are right and they're going to work properly as I go. So yeah, that'll be that again. Yeah, and then once I get that all sorted, at least then we can actually take it off and leave it off until we've further down the track. I've got the car painted and whatever, and I can be finishing work on that stuff. Yeah, lots of finishing. Right guys, catch you later on. Right, I might see if I can get this top back on here and try these pieces. And then go from there, I think. It just takes a while to freaking, take pizza metal on the other side and dress it up and then drill holes and fluff around and file it out. And God, it's amazing where the time goes. But anyway, I'll see if I can get this top back on because it's not going to be easy because it's going to be a pain in the butt. I might get help maybe later, but yeah, I'll see if I can get it up otherwise. I just don't want to damage anything. But yeah, I'll see if I can get it up there and put it back up. Sweet, new toys. 6-inch bout, 9-inch disc. It's got a stand as well. It's got to be put together from the tool shed here in New Zealand. The model and the part number and tool shed and yeah, sweet. Sweet. Things run alright. We'll test it later. Righty, I think I'm about finished for the day. I still haven't used the belt sander yet, but I'll definitely use that in the next couple of days. I probably will, when I come through to clean a lot of these corners up and all that sort of stuff, and really make them quite nice and round, and I'll use that, or the angle grinder or whatever. Just depends on which piece it is, I suppose, and how easy it is to work with. So that's the first one of those on. I'm just going to do them piece at a time. Just take one off and do the other. So at least the other one I can just use that same piece to make a pattern. At least I know then the holes should be in the same spots again. And as you've seen, I added the piece of steel on each side of that to thicken it up. This here is actually two pieces of, I thought it was 6mm, but it's 5mm by 20mm. Just flat bark, whatever you want to call it. I just doubled it up just so it's the same thickness, because this is about 10mm or 3/8 thick, the ends of each of these, one of these pieces. I just wanted to try and make them all look uniform. I don't know, I probably won't do much with this. I thought about just thickening parts of these up, but I don't know if it's too much worry. I still want to tweak this stuff a little bit at some point, because like this has all got to be, it's actually got to have a lot of work done to this yet, but it's at the point where like once I get these last couple of pieces made and we figure out this freaking back piece, God, it's so annoying. Yeah, I think we'll be on the home stretch, if you know what I mean. Like, we can actually get into cleaning this body up. I don't think there's actually anything else that really needs to be done that's going to affect the way just the main body goes together. The rest of it's bolt-on sort of type stuff, and it was originally fitted, you know, like it's not as though I've had to remake. You know, there will be things that will be remade, but it's because it's inside and it's not seen, or what's these floor pieces, like that will have to be remade, but we'll be reusing the bulk of the original, if you know what I mean, within reason. You know, there'll be a lot of bits and pieces mucked around with, but the bulk of it is set in stone, if you know what I mean. You may be the odd tweak, but it's not going to affect much. And it shouldn't be visual. You know, there's still a little bit of work to do on the backs of these, but again, it's not really visual. You don't see it. It's in behind the wheel arches, or the fenders, whatever you want to call them. So yeah, it's cool getting there. Seems to be, sometimes it just seems to take forever to get some of these things done, but we'll get there. It's just when we actually getting into finishing work, there'll be a lot of just welding, grinding, clean up, whatever, you know, and then start prepping for paint and whatever on all these pieces. You know, like we're just getting it to the point where it's assembled, you know, able to be put together and test fit, and then we can clean it up. So, you know what, I'm going to head home and then come back in the morning. Duck, flying past the door, quacking. So yeah, I'm getting there. Yeah, we'll work this back piece out. I think we'll be steaming it, but it's just with what and how we do it. Whether we layer it up and steam it, or whether we find some younger wood, timber, whatever you want to call it, that will steam and become flexible. It's not really hard and dry in the fibres. I think it needs to be fairly fresh, if you know what I mean. And once it's on the card, you know, it can dry and harden as much as it likes after that. So yeah, the loo, we'll catch later on. I'm not 100% sure if this will be the end of a video or not. I need to get some editing done. Again, just the way everything's been going at the moment, with breaking a leg and bits and pieces, and sometimes I struggle to get near the computer, if you know what I mean. To spend an hour or two editing just to go through sift through the stuff and speed stuff up and whatever. Anyway, thanks for watching, and yeah, if this is the end of it, see you next time. Cheers. Please like, subscribe, comment, all those sorts of things, and thanks Core Gas New Zealand for the sponsorship for the odd free bottle. Cheers guys, thanks. Morning again. Good morning again. Took a week to go start loading. Right, so I've got this piece off. I grabbed the other section off that I need to make. This is the offcut from the other pieces. Couldn't get much closer to what I need, so it's cool. Funny how things work out like that sometimes. It's either just the right length or it's that much too short. This one's just happened to be about that much too long. It's good. It's what we want. Anyway, so I've got to make another one of the long ones, like that, and then I've got to make two of these, and then I've also got to make the little lock links. But yeah, once I've got all these other pieces made, then I'll work out the lock links just so I can get the exact right length, so you get everything sit nice and flush and flat and all those bits and pieces. And I might just adjust the tie between the back bar and the next one, which obviously determines the angles of those two pieces. I might just adjust it a little bit to get things sitting a little bit nicer. But with these pieces made, get that sorted. I haven't sorted anything out to do with wood yet, but I haven't had a chance to talk to the owner of the vehicle to see if because he was going to maybe look at getting some other wood. We just haven't decided. We'll just see what he's come up, how he's fared there. Otherwise we might go into sweating and laminating. It's unfortunately it's a matter of getting something that's suitable and hardwood, and because it's not a commonly cut down thing now, it is, but it's not. It's just a matter of trying to find something. Like it's around, but it's, yeah, you know what I mean. Like it's not one of those things that's readily available. Without, you know, it's to get the right piece, and you know, and to get it from somewhere where it's easy to get from, and all those sorts of things. You know, it's just, and the cost of it too. Hardwood's expensive. Pine's cheap because it's made fast and quickly, but hardwood takes a long time to grow, and they only do it when somebody fells a big massive tree that's might happen to be a menace or whatever, you know, and they manage to get some decent timber out of it, but you know what I mean? Or it's just a danger, and then they might plant some new young stuff as they chop down a big old tree, you know, depending, obviously, and they can mill it. If it's worth saving, if you know what I mean, like if it's rotten, well, it's not worth saving, but if it's good timber, yeah, and it might be better saved or used for something. But anyway, I'll stop waffling. We'll get into this. What, anything else to say? Oh yeah, Rachel's leg or knee. We're going to go see a specialist next week, but it sounds like there might be some sort of rupture in a cartilage in her knee. I'm not sure how bad it is. It sounds like it's not extreme, but you know, until we talk to a specialist and find out what the steps are, you know, we don't know. She might not need surgery, but you know, like it might be one of those things. Like if you don't do anything with it, you might be fine, but down the track, you might end up with premature knee problems, or you know, you're gonna have to do something with it. She's starting to walk around and put pressure on it, you know, and not use the crutches quite so much. She's sort of using them, but not using them. She tries to want to keep her leg free and not get seized up, which I can understand. There's nothing worse than, you know, yeah, being locked up in like, you know, like either a cast or something like that, and then you go to use your leg and it's just absolutely useless. She wants to keep those muscles moving and free, so she doesn't have limited movement of her leg, which I can understand. It's only been, I said, a couple of weeks, so, but she said it's not really sore to put pressure on now, so that's possibly a good sign, but it just obviously just depends whether they might say, look, you know, if you don't do anything with it, you know, in a few years' time, it might be a problem. But, you know, it's one of those risks you take, or, you know, what are the risks of it popping out by itself type thing. So, yeah, it's just a matter of assessing those risks from what's needed to be done. So, yeah, I'll give you an update on that in a few days. I'll get making this stuff. Righty guys, so I've got this one here, which is this piece. I've got it to here. I've got my two pieces of strap steel on either side, which I've got to burn in and weld on. It's got it tacked on. I've got this end squashed, but obviously not. Haven't got the steel on there yet. So yeah, I just ground the edge of that off so I can weld it better. Get a better weld in there. And as I said, I'll build that weld back. When I weld, I'll weld back across this piece here so I can get a nice transition, and that should make that joint really strong across there. You know, in theory, it'll be as strong as it's going to be, but yeah, that should really strengthen that up anyway, and it shouldn't flex around. So yeah, I'll get the camera set up. I'll find another glove, whatever I've done with it. Again, probably walk around. Oh, there it is. And yeah, get my helmet on and get this burned in. Before I get started, somebody the other day was looking at my video where I cleaned the helmet, and they said, oh, how do you get this lens off? Well, on this helmet here, and most of them are the same, in here is these tabs, top and bottom. Obviously every helmet is going to be a little bit different. So up here, that's all you do. Push it like that. You may have to use a screwdriver or something like that, or some other tool. But they're pretty simple, as long as you get that friggin' thing out of the road. Push, push, it falls off. Same with the inside one. They will normally clip in or clip out or something like that. So yeah, this one here just pops out pretty simply. Oh, you just pull it out from here, I think. Yeah, right, they come out really simple, you know. A quick clean up with a bit of polishing compound, and makes a hell of a difference. Really need to get another set of lenses for this, but I wouldn't actually mind a wide view blue lensed helmet like I had in Australia or something like that. Unfortunately, I approached Yes Welder after Arco got one there over at Outlaw Ridge, Minnesota Outlaw Kustoms, which is, you know, like we're trying to go or join together when I'm allowed out of the country. So basically we're doing a lot of, well, you know, we're promoting each other all the time, bits and pieces, because we're trying to basically be one unit. Hold on. Yeah, we're trying to be one thing. So yeah, we're trying to promote each other as much as we can. Oh, just got out of friggin'. There wasn't much left in this. That's why I bought it here. You know, the old dregs of the bottle before you buy, you know, another one. And frick yeah, we might be spat out in here. I'll have to cut the old bottle in half. Trick. Yep. Alright. Cut the bottle in half trick. So yeah. Get a bit of that on your thing. Find a clean-ish surface, put your lens on. This is a bit of a redo, I guess. Give them a quick clean up with the old polishing compound, and then just get a clean part of your rag and just give it a buff off, if you know what I mean. That's heaps better than a grimy lens, if you know what I mean. I do the exactly same thing for the sandblasting cabinet after I've been using it for quite a while, because it's got a plastic film on the inside of the glass, on the plastic on that. So what I do for that too is just I get in there, give it a good wipe down with a cleanish rag, get rid of all the dirt and shit and everything off it, and then actually give it put a bit of compound on my rag and just give it a quick buff up, basically, just to keep the crap off it. That saves replacing that bit of plastic quite so often. It's amazing how much better it actually looks. Give this a quick dust off, so it's clean. You should have seen this helmet when I come in here, man. It was actually state you actually couldn't actually see through that. The lens had actually oxidised. That lens, let alone this lens. It was in a hell of a state, that helmet, because it hadn't been used for a long time. And it was just covered in crap. And obviously just from sitting and not being protected and covered in shit, it was in a poor state. A very poor state. It comes off. It's the whole thing might come out. Looks like you can even replace the whole guts, or you might better buy a new Alpha, if you know what I mean. But anyway, it's just a matter of working it out. Every helmet will be different, but they all work in a similar sort of way, if you know what I mean. They'll come apart and go together the same way, or very similar direction. So give that another quick wipe. I'll have my fingers on it. Try and keep it clean as possible. Pop this out. They just pop out 9 times out of 10. Compound on the length and the rag, and just don't have to go for a million days either. You're just giving it a good quick rub to get that oxidisation and dirt and crap and, you know, the fumes and stuff from welding, basically. Give you that clear, nice clean view again, or as clean as it's going to get, you know what I mean. Obviously depending on the condition of your lens, but these lenses, you know, if you're buying a few of these all the time, a bit of car polish, and if you've, you know, get a half, well, you know, almost an empty bottle of car polish or cutter at home, and you think, oh shit, you know, I'll go buy a new one. Well, there you go, buy a new one. Take the old, put the other one with your helmet gear, and just use it to clean it up. You know, that'll last, the end of a bottle, you know, will last you ages doing this. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing there, probably not. It's the biggest problem when you're trying to do this and you're not looking at the camera. But yeah, And then another quick wipe before we put it back on. But yeah, it's just those tabs. 9 times out of 10 just pop back the front lens cover off. Most helmets I've struck. Most of them being the same sort of basic principle, you know. And then just poke it back on. Just make sure that the clips are going back into the helmet properly. Takes a couple of minutes and then you get a decent bloody view again, you know, instead of dirt and shit and crap. Right, let's get welding. Right. Run some shit in. Better. it's not finished, but it's going to end up with quite a nice result. Once we really detail this stuff up, it's going to come in really handy. Very handy. Well, we'll poke this up there and do another one. Righty, let's put this last piece of this back on here, apart from the lights. We'll get rid of that. Alright, and this up here. Sweet. This one be? Situation, maybe. Very good. Looks nicely. Very good, very good, very good. Oh well, I might call that for the today. And go home and see what the folks are doing at home. The children, the missus, see if her legs hasn't fallen off or anything silly. That and I need a poo, or a fart, or a shit, or something, because it doesn't smell very good. Well, I shouldn't be telling you that, should I? Yeah, fluffed a couple of times and it just doesn't smell very good. Somebody's telling me something. Anyway, that'll do in the meantime. Yeah, I'll call it here for today. That should be the end of this video, I think. Hopefully, we might have come up with a plan for this timber. I think we're going to laminate, but maybe something a little bit, just slightly thicker stuff. And obviously sweat it, or steam it or whatever, so it's a bit more flexible. And hopefully we can get a decent result. See if we can get two different directions in one hit, and then obviously carve it down. I think we're going to go for about 3/8 or 10mm. This was 4, so we're going to make it slightly more than double. And hopefully, just with being in the steamer, it might get enough. If we leave it in there for a good length of time, we might get it. Even if we get it clamped up and squeezed down and then just let it sit, and then we'll glue it together or something like that. We'll see how we get on. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to go because yeah, something else is going to come. And we'll catch you later on.